All right, everybody, this is Sheets, and I'm going to go over my outlook for the Xfinity Series race today and just kind of the way I'm approaching it. And I'm going to experiment with a little different ways of presenting the information. Again, I'm going to review what I feel is the kind of the setup for the race and how the race is going to go with respect to what drivers to play. And then also just go over some key value plays and some key low-owned guys that you could filter in through the lineups. Now, just so you guys know what I'm doing. Again, I have my normal kind of like grid of projections and ownerships and things like that I kind of shuffle around and run through the optimizers and come up with probably 15 of the 20 lineups that I'm gonna run, and then the other 5 I'm gonna probably hand build, and I'm gonna focus on the hand build ones, and I'm also gonna focus again on kind of the key plays that I think are standing out with respect to the combination of ownership and and chance to score well. So again, what you want to do in a race like this is, again, I'm just still working on all this, is find a combination of guys that are going to pick up points via place differential, pick up points via leading laps and fast laps points, and always with an eye on finishing position as well. So what's going to happen this week is an insane amount of ownership, and probably for good reason, is going to go onto Austin Cindric, because while the best plays, such as Noah Gragson, Justin Allgaier, guys like that, all the way, and Tyler Reddick, those guys have great place differentials. They're starting like 40th, 30th, whatever. Cindric is the fastest car of, say, the top 10. So it's very possible that he goes out there and leads so many laps that he picks up just a lot of dominator points, even if he doesn't win the race, and he still can very well win the race. So that's why he's going to be extremely popular. So again, same kind of concept. If you are going to play him, I also would not recommend you filling it up with the rest of your lineups with kind of chalky place differential plays. And the good news is DraftKings made it difficult for you, because they priced up the good place differential plays as well. So you really can't play Cindric with too many of these other guys without really playing some uncomfortable value, which we are going to talk about. Like, for example, like a lineup like this is one that's going to be somewhat popular. They're going to try to play Gragson and Allgaier and Cindric together, and then people are going to start gravitating towards very similar type value plays. So another thing that you can do is pivot off of those value plays that optimizers are going to lead you to and get a little different that way. So let me highlight a couple of guys that are in that top 10 starting position range that I think you can use to pivot off of Cindric. So like if you wanted to play Gragson or Allgaier with someone other than Cindric. And again, this is speculative, because Cindric does rate to be the guy that leads laps. But if he doesn't, you could try Danny Hemrick, Brandon Jones, and Justin Haley. Those would be my top guys out of the top 10. I don't think Josh Berry can get there. I don't think Snyder can get there. I don't think that, I forget all the way down here, Josh Berry, I said Clemens. I don't think these guys can just get there. You can go for AJ Allmendinger. He's fine. And those would be the top guys that I would put as the person to lead laps aside from Cindric. So in a real pure lineup construction sense, you want to get one of those guys in most of your lineups, if not all of them. Depending on how you're running, obviously. And again, would not play Cindric with both, necessarily with both Allgaier and Gragson just like this, because this is just a very, very chalky build. Or Tyler Reddick, okay, for example, he's going to be really popular also. And again, the other thing you can do if you wanted to is you can play Cindric and then differentiate off of these place differentials with the little lower owned guys. But these guys are really tough to fade. I want to give you a couple of ideas, though, of guys that I like that are just kind of showing up in my work as a good combination of both ability to do well and low ownership. And again, the quote unquote ability to do well thing, I mean, I don't want to pretend I have these incredible, secret metrics or anything like that. But again, it's me combing through content, listening to people I like, ignoring people I don't, seeing who's good at what, then running it through my grid and rolling over some different ownership projections and just coming up with this stuff. So let me just kind of just highlight these. I think one guy to highlight, I'm just going to pull it up here, is Harrison Burton. He, you know, I don't want to get all the details, but I mean, he just rates to be a pretty decent play also with low ownership. He rates as my top, lower ownership, and that rates as my top guy as far as that metric goes. Next guy is a guy maybe you don't hear too much about, and that's going to be Brandon Brown. And again, one thing you'll notice about these guys is that what they have in common is their starting positions are in the 20s, right? So it's not like that pure place differential plays in the 30s, yet it's not, you know, doesn't speak to like a dominator playing the top 10. So I guess that's one of the reasons why these guys are going to be somewhat lower owned, is that type of range usually doesn't get a lot of love. Another guy who rates to be low owned, and this could be, again, it's so funny. I guess this is the theme here, is going to be Ty Dillon. Now, again, he is priced like one of those top, you know, place differential guys, yet he's starting from the 20 something. So it's not like he looks like that great a play, but he's good enough and he's low owned. So that's the kind of thing I like. I'll give you a couple more. One guy I alluded to earlier was let's make sure I have something. Was Brandon Jones. He was going to be one of those guys that pivot off of Austin Cindric to lead laps. He again rates to be an okay play and rates to be low owned. And then I'm going to go over two value plays. Well, Brandon Brown, I guess you consider him one at 6,900, but I'm going to go over a couple of value plays here that are again going to be, you know, maybe not the best value plays from a rating perspective, but good enough, and their ownership is going to be really, really low. So the first guy, where is he on my list here? Oh, is Josh Williams. So he, again, it's funny. Like this is where all the low owned plays come from. It seems as though it's in these 20s range. So Josh Williams at 6K rates to be almost single digit ownership, and that's one. And then two other guys I'll give you. Tommy Joe Martins. He once again he's in the 21 hole. And then the other guy who rates in my work as being a good kind of combination of low and whatever is Jesse Little, and he's down at 5K. So you know, you have the real chalky value guys that maybe you don't want to play. Maybe you don't want to play Colby Howard, who's going to be like 30% owned or something like that, or David Starr is going to be 25% owned, or maybe even Chad Finch, who might be 20% owned. So you can play some of those other guys. So I think that's the way I'm going. And as you see, if you've played the Truck Series race last night, man, it's there's a lot of variance out there, a lot of wrecks, a lot of stuff that goes on. So the good news is it all is over in a couple hours. You don't have to sweat it out over 4 days of golf. Okay, that's it. Good luck today, and I will drop a Cup Series one or probably early tomorrow.